Never had that before. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Well, thank you, everybody, for allowing me to speak with you today. Thank you, Reverend Jean, for inviting me. Pastor Bart, thanks for pulling all this together. Really appreciate it. I bring greetings from the over 600 team members at Samaritas, serving over 40,000 individuals each and every year in over 60 communities across our state, from lake to lake, from Alpena to Monroe. As we know from all his ministries, Jesus came to serve the desperate, the disenfranchised, and the weak. And Mark chapter 10, verse 45 says, "For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." Our mission statement at Samaritas is very simple. It's serving people as an expression of the love of Christ. But this isn't exactly an easy time to do that. And to state the obvious, our communities need us more than ever. And we're in one of those oversized times where it's our moment to be a light on a hill and to lean into the need. And Samaritas is a vast organization doing that, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're doing these days throughout the state. So first off, we are one of the largest child welfare agencies in the state. At any moment, we work with about 500 foster youth, 100 family preservation cases, about 100 or so adoption cases, and 20 or 30 youth that have aged out of the foster care system, but they never found their forever family. And acuity in our cases is up. It's way up. And what does that mean? That means the complexity of their cases is so much higher than it was not that long ago. Families would come to us usually struggling with one issue like food insecurity, and now together it's food and housing and transportation and a stack of other insecurities. Credit repair, I'm learning, is becoming increasingly more prevalent for those that get caught in this cycle. I mean, I'm sure you all know that it's so much harder to make ends meet. If you couple that with a youth mental health crisis, and that is very real, you can imagine what we're dealing with. And when I first took this job 3 years ago, I learned of a statistic that completely changed how I see this work. 80% of all foster cases in this country are due to poverty, not abuse, poverty. Imagine a family of 5 with a single mother. She's holding 2 jobs to make ends meet, and she hits a pothole on her way to work. She literally cannot afford that car repair. She's living paycheck to paycheck. Because she can't drive, she loses her jobs. And then she loses her apartment because she doesn't have a job. And then someone calls CPS about the kids when they think they're in this terrible situation and it's homeless. And then the child is pulled away from the family or the mother. Imagine what that separation does to the child, to be split from their mother. Imagine what it does to the mother who tried to do everything to take care of her family and her kids. It's massive trauma, and many times it's something that will never leave both of them. There will always be a need for foster care and adoption. There are cases of abuse, and we need to take care of them. But there's a lot we can do before the fostering situation occurs to intervene and prevent it, and that's called family preservation, and we're very committed to it. So take that family I just described. What we do then is help them get their car repaired. It's actually that simple, and once we do that, the family's intact, the child is not separated, and life moves on. Now, sadly, some youth never find their forever family and they age out of the system. Once you turn 18, you are moved out of the traditional foster care system. Imagine that when you're 18. And you literally have no family, because if you had family, they would have taken you in. And you're supposed to just sort of figure this out on your own. There are no 18-year-olds that I think in general could figure life out like that at 18. They're on their own, they literally. So what we do is we have homes where they can rent a room, and then we try to help them build life skills, teach a vocation. They actually have credits for college. It's called the ETV program here in the state of Michigan. Help them, they don't even know they have that. We try to help them get that. We have 2 of these homes in Grand Rapids, and Oakland County just gave us $1 million to buy 2 new homes in their county. So we'll have 4 of these. Frank, to me, this is some of the greatest ministry we do. These kids, just the look on their face. So we're there to lean in and love them. Mark chapter 9, verse 36 says, "He took a little child whom he placed among them, and he took the child in his arms, and he said to them, 'Whoever welcomes one of these little children in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but the one who sent me.'" We're one of the largest refugee resettlers in the state. I think many of you know that. During the Biden administration, we supported 17,000 individuals from 27 countries to resettle in Michigan. From their war-torn countries or persecution. That's what refugee resettlement is. It can take up to 10 years to resettle. And many times, you're living in a refugee camp for 10 years until you get the authority to come over here. It is the most vetted immigrant in our federal system. Let me be clear about that. And also to counter the narrative, 85% of those that we resettle are self-sufficient in 240 days or less. They come here ready to lean in. We have over 300 employers in this state that count on us to fill jobs that cannot be filled by those that are here. I learned this week of a family we supported that came from a tough environment. Fast forward from 2018, and that's when they arrived, we met the daughter who was interning at JP Morgan, because that's our bank, and then she told us about her family, we didn't actually know this, that we helped support. The other 3 kids have great jobs. The dad started a trucking firm, and he is employing 8 people in his trucking firm. And yes, these are refugees from the Congo. And I'm sure you know resettlement's more or less on hold. There's just a trickle of cases, maybe one a month, that we're bringing into this country. So due to that, most agencies in Michigan have tapped out of the work. No contract, can't help. We're the only one left in West Michigan. We don't leave people behind, and we continue to work with the 17,000 that are here that we're still connected with. This is a very immigrant-friendly state, and we have a wonderful partnership with the state of Michigan to fund continuing support for these refugees, even though the federal dollars have dried up. But no, the state budget's under enormous stress, and the dollar amount just shrinks a little bit every year. But more importantly, think about the pressures on these families. Over 500 of our refugees that we know, I am sure it's more, have lost work permits. When you don't have a work permit, you don't have a pay stub. When you don't have a pay stub, you cannot find housing. Haitian and Syrian immigrants have lost their protected status. I'm sure you saw that in the news. The Haitians in particular fear going back to the gang violence that's still in Haiti, and they will have a target on their back because they lived in the U.S. They will think these are the rich people and they're coming back to Haiti. Nearly 100 Ukrainians have had their legal proceedings to become citizens stopped. We have no idea how to keep them moving forward. There's no clear pathway. SNAP, which is a food program, has been cut off for them. Medicaid will go away October 1st. So no work permits, no SNAP, no Medicaid. Likely being challenged about your immigration status through TPS. You can imagine what this is like. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 18, he defends the cause of the fatherless and the widow and loves the foreigner residing among you, giving them food and clothing. And you are to love those who are foreigners, for you yourselves were foreigners in Egypt. Some describe Jesus and his family as refugees when they fled to Egypt. Matthew chapter 25, verse 35, Jesus says, I was a stranger and you welcomed me. Demand for our mental health services couldn't be higher. We provide substance use disorder treatment, we provide trauma support, and we do family counseling. A lot of it is in rural counties where literally we are the only provider because the large agencies won't go there. Here in Southeast Michigan, I'm happy to announce, and I hope you can meet us at our open house. We're opening up a clinic at Van Dyke and 14 Mile in Macomb County. And when we provide these services, we provide the services, but we like to go the extra mile to help our clients solve their personal challenges, because that many times, like in substance use, is what's driving you to substance use. There's something else going on in your life. And a good example of that is Tyler. Tyler was a young man in his late 20s. He came to us for mental health support and to work through some long-standing addiction challenges. He didn't think he'd ever be able to be independent. He fought hard to break cycles that he learned back in his childhood. He's now been sober for nearly a year, and the Samaritas mental health team reports he took on the work to fight for his future with every fiber of his being. He navigated setbacks, fought hard every step of the way, and on top of conquering that addiction, he's working full-time and just moved into his first apartment. We were able to help him a bit more because he had to then turn his utilities on, and one of his relatives used his identity to rack up $1,000 of utility bills. So he moved in, he was so proud, and then he couldn't turn anything on, thanks to a family member. So we worked with our partners in the financial world, and we cleared his balance. and he could move forward as planned, and now he is thriving. It's a great story. Housing, the fourth area that we do a lot of work in Michigan is in housing. Housing insecurity underlies the story of all our clients, more or less. Every single one of them is struggling with expensive rent, the ability to get a mortgage. I think you all understand that. We have 15 affordable housing properties across the state, about 850 units. 12 of those facilities are for seniors only. We're going to soon have 18. I'm very proud to say this. Our 16th is Frebel School in Muskegon. It's a 1930 era school that sat in a neighborhood abandoned for 25 years. And we're going to convert it into 40 units of affordable housing, including units for individuals with developmental disabilities. And then we were just awarded through the state of Michigan tax credits to build 2 more. One will be in Grand Haven, and one will be Grand Rapids, and one will be in South Haven, and that'll take our units up to 1,000. Know that the wait lists for our affordable housing, some of them are 5 years long, 5 years long. Know that we've housed homeless senior citizen vets on the west side of the state. We found senior citizens who were vets living in a park in West Michigan during the Grand Rapids winters, and now they are housed and safe. We have a homeless shelter in Westland. It's the only one in western Wayne County where the family can stay intact. So normally men go one way, women and children go the other in homeless situations. We keep them together. We get about 24 rooms. We can house about 85 people at any one time. Its wait list is 600 people deep, 600. And that's down from 1,000 in the winter. It's not just a place to live, but also wraparound services to get you on your feet. The average length of stay, so while we're adding those wraparound services to help you find a job, figure out transportation, family counseling, whatever it is, it's so hard now to get back on your feet once you enter the cycle of poverty. Pre-COVID, average length of stay was 90 days. Today it's 300. So they're staying there a lot longer, which is preventing new people from using those units. And if you want to feel for what it's like out there, work the phone there. And families call in complete despair, saying, I was kicked out of my house burnt down, I lost housing, I need a place to stay, and we have to explain to them there's a wait list with 600 people on it, and you'll just cry. And if that's not enough, here comes Medicaid changes. That'll affect most of our clients. So eligibility requirements change this coming year. To get starting in 2027 to qualify for Medicaid, you have to show you worked so many hours a month, and you have to reapply for Medicaid every 6 months now. It's no longer automatic. And it's probably going to be very confusing to reapply. We don't quite understand all the rules yet because it's not very clear what the rules are yet. That's frankly probably intentional. I could spend an hour on this, but let me summarize it this way. People are going to lose health insurance coverage. They're going to lose other Medicaid benefits that many of us don't think about. I didn't until I studied this. Mental health treatment, in-home support for developmentally disabled and seniors, transportation, school services like PT and OT, caregiver support so family members can continue to work while they support their loved ones in a crisis. Housing stability. It truly is one of the most important pieces of the social service safety net because it touches almost every aspect of a person's ability to live independently and thrive. And so you can imagine what's coming in 27. It's not very obvious right now. We're not talking about it in the media, but we will. I guarantee you that, sadly. So all this work in this time is it's overwhelming. It's easy to despair. My feelings every day range from outrage to despair to focus and determination. I'm exhausted. My wife is exhausted because she's tired of me bringing it home every day, complaining about it. We are all exhausted at Samaritas. But this isn't new in history. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, in his fight against Nazi Germany, experienced deep exhaustion and inner struggle. And Bonhoeffer wrote from prison that intolerable conflicts have worn us down, questioning whether if he was still of any use in his fight. An obscure Dutch Catholic priest, Henri Nouwen, who served on the front lines of communities for people with developmental disabilities, wrote a book that I found because I was searching for some books to read about the exhaustion. It was called A Sabbatical Journey, and it was written while he was on his sabbatical. And it was an interesting self-argument about exhaustion in the face of the drive to serve. And he opened with, "Why am I so tired?" And he closed with, "Jesus says, 'Come to me, you who are tired and feel the burden of life. Take on my burden,' which is the burden of the whole world, and you will discover that it is a light burden." Henri continues to say, "It moves me deeply that Jesus didn't say, 'I'll take your burden away.' He said, 'Take on God's burden.'" The apostles, especially Paul, they openly acknowledged exhaustion, emotional strain, and despair. We know at Samaritas, our service to others is not free from fatigue. It's never been. It often produces it. It just is at a much larger stage at this moment. We can't avoid it, but we can be grounded in purpose and sustained by God to continue to serve through it. So what I want to say to all you folks, and I say to everybody, is please know Samaritas will respond to this moment, and we will live in this storm. It's a storm that's not going to end anytime soon. We're more present and we're more active than ever, because it would be really easy to hide in the corner, stay quiet, and just sort of stick around and wait for better days. There's a lot of other agencies doing that. We're doing just the opposite. It is our moment. It is our moment to be a shining light to those we serve, our communities, and those watching us, to make a statement and to do what we are called to do, regardless of what's happening around us. We cannot and will not run from this storm. We're running directly into it. Despite all of this, we are serving 40,000 individuals each and every year. I hope that goes up over the next 2 years. We have to stand up today with a united voice and build together for the future, because together we're stronger, and this work shines an amazing positive light on our Christian faith. So with all of that, please pray for our team that they maintain the energy for the fight. And obviously pray for all our clients we serve today and the many more that are going to be coming to our doorstep over the next couple of years. Please don't become complacent or be overwhelmed. I think that's part of what this is, to the point of inaction. We have to stay strong. We have to preach truth. We have to preach the gospel as it's truthfully preached. We'd love to understand what's happening in your communities. Where can we lean in and deliver services, open offices? Please tell us where the demand is, where the need is. We'd like to be there. We need your love and care. The people we serve need to know the community's still there, standing with them, believing in them. You can show that in a lot of ways. And sometimes the best service we offer our clients and to those watching we do is just providing hope. It's that simple. Walking alongside them, providing hope. I think the world's crying for that right now. If you could help us find foster parents, be with one of those refugee families, visit the homeless shelter, support our advocacy, host listening and learning sessions, that would be great. If you know land around here where we can build affordable housing, please let me know. We will do that. And thank you for all your support that you've given us in the past, and I know you will in the future. It's truly a blessing to us. I know that resources are even more stretched than ever for all of us, and there are so many agencies with need for so many things, and I can only say that our mission is taxed too. The funding we once had is not there, and we need your partnership to continue to serve on the ground. And finally, folks, I do have hope. I do have a lot of hope in the despair of all this each and every day. God is at our back. MLK once said, "We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it does bend towards justice." And let's not forget, God's in charge. God is in charge. I'm connected now to an interesting group of individuals from around the country that are ready to write the next chapter. It's one of love, it's one of community, and it's one of reclaiming Christianity. So get ready for that. It's coming. I really, really believe that. It's going to be quiet for a little bit longer, but it's coming. And let me close with one more story. One more story of determination and resiliency in the face of the storm. A trilingual Indonesian asylum seeker in Flint contacted us in 2025 for assistance in employment. He's fluent in English, he's educated, has robust work experience in several countries, including 23 years in America. And in the spring of 25, his asylum application and employment authorization were suspended. He lost his job. And because of that, he lost his housing. He applied later for asylum, somehow figured this out and was able to reinstate his work permit. But because he had no housing, he was living in his car. So our team found free food, hygiene supplies, gas cards for fuel, and we found some resources to find him housing in the area. We applied for cash assistance, food stamps, and Medicaid for the client. So this man said, you know, I want to drive a truck. I want to get my CDL license. Great. Michigan Works, a program at the state of Michigan, actually pays the tuition to do that. Got him all connected, got him in the program, and then in late 25, the Federal Department of Transportation said, non-citizens can't drive trucks anymore. You cannot get a CDL license if you are not a citizen of the U.S. So that was over. We didn't give up. We got the client a job at a Plymouth company that also offers housing, which is really cool. So he got a job and he had a house. And he thrived in that job, and now the man is in permanent housing in Auburn Hills, and he's working as a skilled chef, a very successful skilled chef. Galatians chapter 6, verse 9, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Matthew 25, verse 40, the king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. The Samaritas team does just phenomenal, amazing things. The most humbling part of my job is hearing the stories of the frontline workers and how they lean into their families each and every day. And it's not the frontline worker telling me that, it's somebody else who witnessed it, and that frontline worker just humbly leans in, drives through a snowstorm to deliver medicine. All the other stories I tell you, they're doing this each and every day. It is amazing. And I hope stories like this become the fuel you need to walk alongside others and serve people as an expression of the love of Christ. We have a table outside. Would love to talk to you after. At a minimum, would just love have you on our mailing list. We have cards for that to keep telling you more about this. And we're here and we're going to continue to get this job done. Thank you.